right, y'all. Welcome to the inaugural PowerHouse Podcast with Hira Yamagishi and Iris Kyle. And you can call me Nobody. My name's John. We'll call me John Nobody because this is their show. And I'm going to be prompting them, asking them questions, and we're going to roll from there. We're going to jump right in. I'm guessing most of y'all know this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm guessing you know Iris is the queen. She's a 10-time Miss Olympia, 7-time Arnold champion. She's the greatest in the history of the sport, male or female, bar none, and recognized as such. I'm a layperson, and I know this. So I don't know their sport professionally like they do, but I know this fact. With regard to Hide, he is unquestionably, the most decorated bodybuilder in Asian history, certainly in Japanese history and in all of Asia. So to me, it's a privilege because I'm coming at this like a fan, and all of you out there watching, you guys, this is a real treat. We're going to be doing this every Sunday, and then it'll be released on like Wednesday or so, Wednesday, Thursday. And I just wanted to introduce, and we're going to start off with questions. So is there anything y'all want to say, Hide, Iris, before I start pumping the question?
Let's pump right on forward.
Yeah, we're gonna have good talk today. We just us three, but we will probably have guests and
some guests
sometime. So let's get started. First one.
Indeed. The first thing I wanted to ask, Hide first of all. You know, we had these really like my son and I've only been out here for a couple months, and you guys have been. I want to tell y'all something. These are the most gracious people with everything they've accomplished in the sport. They're the most gracious people. They didn't know my son and I from Adam, and the way they treated us and their staff. By the way, shout out Isaac, Martin, Sean, Karen, best staff you ever want to see. And that's also thanks to their choices. These are not only great athletes, they're good, wonderful people. And so we have all kind of personal conversations because they're open to this kind of thing. And Hide was telling us about when he first came over to the country. When you first came over and you started your bodybuilding career, will you tell everybody a little bit about that?
So first of all, I started bodybuilding when I was 20 years old, when I was in college. So that's when I started competing as a bodybuilder. Then back then, my goal, immediately my goal was, okay, I want to be IFBB pro someday. But it was like 25 years ago, right? So back then, system wasn't the same as today. So there was no pro qualifier in Japan. So in here, there are Mr. USA and NPC National. So it was black and white how to be a professional here in the United States. But other country, we didn't have it. So as a Japanese, I was wondering how to become IFBB pro, like I see on a magazine or VAT Speedo. Back then, no internet. So I found out in order to be a professional bodybuilder as a Japanese, I need to be Mr. Japan, and I need to be Mr. Asia, and I need to be top 5. Of course, if you win, that's the best scenario, but you can be top 5 in Mr. Universe, which is the World Championship.
Okay.
So that was my set goal immediately. Then, of course, I want to see a professional bodybuilder, because back then, like I said, it wasn't internet. I never seen any guys. So I was probably one of the best in Japanese competition. In a few years, I became one of the best, right? But I came here first. It was year 1995. I think in 1995 I came here just for tourists to see, to just check out what's going on here, right? Then I went to Venice Coast, and I see all these guys, and I was impressed. Of course, I was impressed by physique, but I was impressed by all the gym. Like I never seen all these machines. Like I had trouble find 45-degree leg press in Japan.
Wow.
We didn't have it. So I came here. I found like hammer strength, all these machines I seen only on magazine. Right? So I was okay. Then I decided, okay, next time I come here, I will live here. So which was I came here to live. I think 2000. I stayed here for like 6 months as a student. So you can't forget. You can't just come here and live. You have to have a proper visa, proper paperwork, right? So I came here as a student because I just want to, I just wanted to train. But of course, I didn't speak English back then, so I wanted to learn English too. So I went to school in the morning, and then afternoon I trained, right? Then I go back. I went back to Japan, and a few years after I came back here, this time I became professional. So third time I came here, then I stay here. Like I have a visa, like as a professional athlete. So this time I can stay longer. Like I can stay as long as possible. So I stay here. Then I found, first coach was my coach was Miro Shashi.
Okay.
Then I would say, without him, I would never be here. He taught me everything, right? Training and all this stuff. I was just excited, like kids. I was already probably 30 years old when I came here, but I was, everything I wanted here. So I wanted to make living by just doing training and eating and sleeping. So that was my goal. Of course, first few years it was, I didn't have any sponsors. So this is one episode in the gym. I went to Goals Venice. I was training in the Venice, right? Then I did a night. I think that was a night cardio. I came like really late, the cardio for cardio. Then back then, that time I had little money, so all I ate was rice and egg because it was cheap. So that was my diet, like for probably 4 or 5 times a day, just rice and egg. Yeah, rice and egg. But I was prepping for Ironman Pro. It was 2009. So I was like probably like 4 weeks out. I was still, like eating same thing every day. But I was young, so I didn't care. I was in a mecca of bodybuilding. I was trained there, just doing bodybuilding. So I didn't care. But I was talking to a gym member who I saw her almost every night when I go there. Then I was talking. Okay, I'm gonna go home and I eat rice and egg. And she gave me I think $200 and just eat chicken.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. She
That's
just
cool.
gave $200 and then I went. On the way home I just bought some chicken and.
So was that the first time you had like chicken in a
yeah,
while?
I remember this prep. I just but believe it or not, I came in fourth and I qualified for Mr. Olympia.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That year?
Yeah, that year actually 2009. Only year. Usually back then top 3 was qualified for the Olympia, but that particular year they did like for top 5 for Ironman that show. So I came in fourth and I qualified for Mr. Olympia.
Wow.
So thanks to that lady.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But like looking back, my physique wasn't that polished, but I was young and like
And hungry?
hunger. So I like back then diet, of course diet wasn't right. Just eating rice and egg isn't right. But it worked for me. So it was probably my mental.
I was thinking it was your mentality.
Yeah, everything was positive for me. So I've been here since then. So it's been long time. But I still appreciate everything I can get from this country. Because if all these guys watching from other country, and they will always like, oh, I want to go, because as a bodybuilder this is the best country.
America?
By far. I guarantee like everyone wants to come here, living as a bodybuilder. I did, and I always never forget where I came from. Like, so I appreciate this country and appreciate all the opportunity you guys gave it to me.
Wow.
Amazing.
I'm sitting here. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So,
That's amazing. And just on eggs and rice.
eggs and rice. Yeah. It works.
Wow.
That's amazing. And I know you're sitting here. I don't know if you have
I never
heard that
really
ever.
had the breakdown of the food part and the extra little help, the $200 to get chicken part. But I know he came here with just the shoes on his feet, the luggage in his hand, and the clothes on his back. So, and he was really adamant about being an athlete and an athlete only. It was that meant the world to him to become
Well,
a
and,
champ.
in case some people watching, in case you guys don't understand the relationship here, will you fill everybody in on when and how you guys met and how long you've been together, etc.?
We known each other pretty much 10 years, probably 10 years after,
10 years, yeah.
about 10 years after Hide was in the States. So I didn't meet him really early on when he came here. But we known
10
each
years,
other.
Probably a couple years.
Couple.
Years.
Was a couple?
Yeah.
See, I'm already
Yeah.
wrong.
Because I didn't have a place to live, so that's why we met at Cathy Lafrancoeur. She used to be, she was a good professional bodybuilder.
Okay.
And our friend, and because I didn't have money, so I stayed. One of her.
Were you staying with her?
Yeah, she had a big house.
She had a big house.
She had.
So were you in like a room or something?
Yeah, I rent a room for like a couple $100.
And did you use like the kitchen there?
Yeah,
or?
yeah. So it's like a bodybuilding house. Like she had like a gym downstairs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So other Iris was there. I think Ben Pakuruski was there too. Sometimes he came in from I think he was in Canada. Yeah, he came flew in and I lived a couple months, trained. That was like.
So is that where you guys met?
Yeah.
I was getting ready for the Arnold, and I came up to prep with Cathy, and Hide was already there, and we had another little similar business together that we were doing. It was more of a, what do you call it? It was called Vasalis, and we kind of formed other team members to join us, and it's like a platform. I don't know I can't say the exact name, but we form a team to come together, and we'll sell all these supplements. And if we sell a lot of supplements and get everybody on board, that increase our pay. And then also after a certain while, it allows us to have our own car, and the cars that they will give us. And any form of BMW we want off the lot, because we were at a certain point, and Hide and I were on teams, and we used to just help each other. I was one of the team leaders, so we used to get a whole lot of people to join the team, and the product was pretty good, and that's how we kind of started being around each other. And I think I came on to Hide. He didn't come on to me because he's always been very shy.
You were flirting with him.
I was flirting with Hide a little bit, and asking for one of his posters, because we had a meeting that allowed people who weren't a part of our establishment to come join and listen to what we're all about.
To sell the supplements?
To sell the supplements, and we used to do that regularly. And I asked Hide, because he was giving out posters, I said, sign Miss Olympia poster. By that time, I was Miss Olympia already.
Okay.
And then after he was leaving, because he left the meeting before I gave him my number. I said, call me if you need some help. Very, on the sly, like not as if I'm being aggressive towards him. And he happened to call, and we went to dinner, and we kind of had a lot in common as far as our interest in the sport. And I think that formed us together. And we're very loyal and honest, and that helped. And we just kept it black and white, and before you know it, we became a couple, and we did everything together. We just had each other back, which we don't gather over the time frame that we have known each other. It's just phenomenal that you can find someone that's very trustworthy, and they won't cut corners, and they won't lie to you just to make you feel good. They told you exactly how things are and what you got to do, and that's how we roll from the time we met each other. We just click, just like peanut butter and jelly. We just click with no problem.
So he had a good eye, and he would be honest with you.
Always honest.
And you could share that, because I know you'd always be honest with him too.
Absolutely. We trained in this week together, not through all of his preps, or not through all of my preps, but the majority we worked out. He was very particular about being on time, and I was the one who always ran a little bit late. He used to say, you can't keep being late. There was even times where he would tell me, we're going to take separate flights, because I'm not going to be running through the airport with your luggage and making us late. You have to be on time. This is a big issue. So He, like I said, he just kept it really clean and very honest and upfront, and I like that about him. You would really know from day one that if you can hang out with me there or not. He would tell you straightforward, I don't feel that particular person.
Do you feel like in some way that helped you professionally in
Yes,
terms
definitely.
of being on time, doing the supplements, running the business, just having that kind of accountability?
Absolutely. Yes. It make a big difference.
So you guys being together really helped both of you as athletes.
Yes. Athletes in other areas of business.
Very cool. Now, just so you all know, I didn't know any of that, and my son Paul is sitting off to the side. He's been helping as a production assistant with Isaac, and we're learning new things every day right along with y'all. So it's like that's why we wanted to do this. So this stuff is new to me, much of it, and I'm getting a kick out of learning it as well. So Iris, I wanted to ask you too, because you're just now starting the YouTube channel, you're just now starting the podcast. In terms of, like Hide talked a little bit about coming over to this country and what a tremendous opportunity he felt like it was.
Mm-hmm.
Will you talk a little bit about what the sport has meant to you? Because you've shared, I don't know how much you want to share. You've shared a little bit with us very personally about like being younger and coming up, being an athlete in multiple sports, and then falling in love with this sport. Will you share with everybody a little bit about your road as well?
Okay. My road started with competing as a bodybuilder. I was hitting my sophomore year in college. My family moved to California, and you just see all these vain people walking around, and you're like, what? In my hometown, which is probably a population of 10,000 or less, one high school, one bar, and you turn the corner and you're in the next little city. So everyone known everyone. There was not a lot of opportunity.
And where was this?
Benton Harbor, Michigan.
Benton Harbor, okay.
So very small, not a lot of opportunity. Blue collar families, not a very richy town. So after I graduated from high school, which was on a Friday, my mom sent me off to college Saturday, and she said, "You go make something out of yourself. Benton Harbor is not where you advance and have a better life for yourself." So I went to college and summer school and fall, come home, I guess, sophomore year. And then my family had already ventured into California where my brothers, 2 or 3 of my brothers are servicemen, Navy, all Navy. And I joined a gym called Bally's Total Fitness, and I was blown away with the way everyone was so into their physique. And that kind of stirred the pot for me. I'm getting more inclined with weights and machines and aerobics and cardio, because we had a YMCA in Benton Harbor,
Okay.
and that's not very much to speak on. So moving to California, I started to be in the gym probably like if it was my job, to where the manager said, "Hey, you're always here day and night. How about any employee? Why don't you come on the staff?"
Because you're here anyway?
I'm here anyway. Me and my friend used to work out probably damn near 4 hours. And I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? Let's fill out an application. And I started as an aerobic instructor, and I was up there just jumping, and the people were like, what the hell? You have a little animal on stage. So I started with aerobics, then I started lifting more weights, and then I started getting interested in the weights, and it took off from there. And then one day, a guy came up to me in the gym, and you have a part of the gym that's going to always have those men and women who are there just to socialize. And he came to me and my friend, we were doing squats, and he said, "Wow, are you a bodybuilder?" Me and my friend looked at each other like, what the heck is bodybuilding? And I said, he's trying to pick me up, let's go. He said, wait a minute. I'm a promoter of of a show, and I want to offer you to come get into my contest because you are really good. And I'm like, no. So he went back to his car, he got applications, and he said, my show is in 8 weeks. I advise you to enter into it. I said, you going to be judging me? He said, no. I said, so that tells me there I'm not going to win. He's like, no, you have the physique, just enter. So me and my friend went to the bookstores, to the library, to the grocery store. We probably had 12 different books, and we just read. And I copied the diet and the workouts verbatim, just exactly what it was was listed, and there was a couple of athletes that I looked at, like Belle Francis. I'm like, whoa, she's big. Linda Murray, which had the shape and also the symmetry. Corey Everson. I'm looking at these girls, and I'm like, I'm going this route. So I did legitimately pick Belle Francis for the size and Linda Murray for the symmetrical portion of the bodies. And I cut their pictures out. I put them on my refrigerator, and I said, here we go. My first show, I actually won that show that I entered. It was a very little Christian bodybuilding show and a median bug, a median. That's where I took off as being a bodybuilder. And then my mom was a little bit questionable about what I'm doing because she said, you're not leaving school. You're going to finish getting your degree in business administration / accounting. And then after that point, you do what you want once you're 21. But right now, you're in my household, you're doing as I say. But I continue with the sport that I have found some love for, and I pursued it. I still stayed in the gym after working an 8-hour shift. Worked out, did everything that I thought I was supposed to do. And then I thought, okay, NPC time. I'm going to venture over into the NPC. My mom used to say, chocolate chip, which was a nickname, you are too tiny. You are not going to be able to hold
Too
yourself against these big girls. I'm like, you don't know. So I ignored, my family because they weren't so supportive, but they weren't trying to tell me no. But they just thought it was no chance.
They didn't see it.
They didn't see it. So I entered into my first NPC show, which was the Ironman bodybuilding. That was my first NPC show, and I happened to pull out second place.
Wow.
A girl much larger, as my mom said, beat me, and then I just, from that point on, I said, I'm never taking second place again. And I did not. I grind, and I pushed, and I trained, and I diet, and I rest, and I repeat every day, still going to school every day, going to college, coming home, but I still was training. And after winning everything in the NPC, qualifying me for the USA, the Nationals, I went to the Nationals my first year, I got fourth, went to the USA, got second, and then the next USA I turned pro. Bodybuilding is very different, and it's not something that you can play around with. It's either you're all the way on the fence, you can't be halfway this side where you're entertaining, other side training. You have to put all the ingredients together and truly believe that it's going to take a 9-to-5 job to get it done.
So you were working all day.
Working all day.
Eating.
Paying
attention to your sleep.
Absolutely. And I didn't have any guidance but the books that was on the bookshelf, the library, and the magazines. And I just pretty much adapted to training that way. But I did run into a pro called Patrick Lynn way back. He was a pro bodybuilder, and they always say women should not train with men because they have you doing things that's pretty not inclined for a woman to do. But he was a good guidance for me. He helped in certain areas of my diet and some of my training. And then I started when I was in the NPC and going to the shows. I was told by, I won't call names, that I need to change my crowd. Him being in my immediate crowd of people that I hung out with, I had to eliminate myself because it was more of a bodyguard look that they have gotten from the people who were surrounding me, who were protecting me from doing what I needed to do, and photographers being able to approach me. So I had to eliminate everyone. Then that's when I formed my own guidance. And
your own team.
I did my own team and worked out and experimented and made it happen to accomplish what I accomplished.
And were you still in your early to mid 20s at this point?
Mm-hmm.
And when you and Hide met, it was in California. It was at Gold's in Venice.
Well, it was actually at Captain and Francois' house that we met because I didn't go to Gold's that much.
Okay, at the house.
She had her bottom level of her home had everything that you can imagine to work out. So I did all my main training there when I was there getting ready for the Arnold. And her and I would go to the LA Fitness and the 24-hour fitness gyms. Gold's gym was probably like a half an hour, 45 minutes each way.
It was far.
So I didn't want to make that. That was Hide's life. So he said, I'm driving there, he'll go there, but I didn't want that extra 30, 45 minute drive. I would either train in her basement, we're going to go to a local LA Fitness or 24-hour fitness, those family-oriented gyms.
Something close by.
Something close by.
Very good. Very good. You talk about you talk about um, the supplements that you guys did together. You talk about Hida. You talked about having no sponsorships, having no money. You talk about forming this almost alliance coalition of athletes that bought supplements, that kind of a group, if you will. And was that really the entree into the business for both of you? Was that those supplement sales? And that's one question. And the other question is, when did you start to get contracts? When did you start to get, like, how long in did you have to be until?
Right. Back in the day, so when I was coming up, so that was the same year I came in force in Ironman. That was 2009, right? That year, back then it was 3 contracts. Most top Olympian could get. Like first is supplements contract,
Supplements.
nutrition supplement contract, and the second was magazine, and the third was clothing company.
So supplement, magazine, clothing.
So back then I didn't really think about it, but it was like this: if you were in the top 10 Olympia, you could get like one of these 3 or 2, or if you're lucky 3. So we didn't really. I didn't say we didn't do nothing, but if you were a good bodybuilder, they came to us. So that's a scenario back then.
Okay.
So I wasn't really thinking, but I was getting better, and I started thinking, okay, now I can get some contracts, right? So since I was with Cassie, I was close with Cassie. Cassie was already with Gaspari. So I was, because since Cassie was, like calling, because I was in her house, I was taking all these Gaspari supplements from her. Right?
Okay.
Then she was kind of upset, and I called Gaspari and send me more because he didn't take him. Right? So they
you were taking
noticed,
hers.
they noticed, because I'm coming up, so they are kind of, oh, who is he there, right? Then I think next year, 2000, same year, when I went to Olympia, I came in 9th, top 10. So they are like, oh, Hida is good. Now they realize now I'm getting better, so they are actually gave us contracts. So of course I was taking their supplements. I was willing to work for rich, but like I said, back then it was like a mutual thing for in the bodybuilding industry. It's much different than right now, because
How so?
Yeah, because right now everyone can promote yourself, like using Instagram and all these social media. Back then it was only magazine, so magazine was really, really big. So second contract, I was working for an exclusive magazine contract, which I signed with a Massumag. Massumag was in Canada, pretty big company, and they don't make magazine anymore. But so that was my second contract. Then if you sign one magazine company, you don't do photo shoot with other company.
So you're exclusive.
Yeah, exclusive for Masterman, right? Then third company, Gasp. I was signed with Gasp. Gasp is sounds like Gaspari, so a lot of people still think Gasp and Gaspari is the same company, but it's actually a clothing company, came from Sweden, and it's really big right now. But back in 2009, it was still it wasn't a little company. It was just coming into U.S. market. It was big in Europe already.
Okay.
So I signed with them with Branch Warren and Johnny Jackson. They are still with them, but we probably the first 3, 4, 5 athletes. Me, Johnny, Branch, and some other guys started with Gas.
Oh, so you were with them originally?
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Started with these guys, and that's when I started making a living from bodybuilding, only bodybuilding. So that was 2009, 2010. I think from that year for 10 years, I was, it wasn't big money. It was, just because in Los Angeles, cost of living is kind of high. Yeah. It's really high right now, but even back then, it's getting higher. So, but it was my dreams to, just doing all this, this training and sweeping and eating. So I became real professional bodybuilder because of these three companies.
Got you.
Yep.
So between Rich Gaspari and his supplement company and the magazine company in Canada, as well as Gasp, the
Gasp,
clothing
yeah.
company,
Yep. So
they
Gasp,
they helped you have the money
right.
to basically focus completely on bodybuilding
Correct.
and be the best athlete you could be.
Correct.
Wow.
Yep.
And from what you've told us, generally, it took pretty much everything you had in order to do that.
Right.
Like they had you good contracts, but like you say, everything is expensive between the food, the lodging, the training, everything. If you're focused on it, it's taken. And so you and I spoke, and basically you were in the sport as an athlete,
Right.
being the best athlete you could
Right.
be. But it's really taken you probably a good 10 to 15 years to learn the business.
Correct. So back then, lucky thing for me was Rich didn't give us just money. He gave us work, right? So, for example, same time, Muscle Tech was really, really big. So
Okay.
they had Jay Cutler, they had Dexter, they had almost everyone in the top 10 in Olympia.
Okay.
So all these guys, I watched them. You know, they get money, but they didn't. I mean, I didn't say they didn't work, but they did little work, but they still got money. So I was kind of not jealousy, but I was like, oh man, like
You didn't
Tech,
understand.
yeah, Muscle Tech gave athlete money, and Rich gave us lots of work. Right? So I wasn't complaining, but to be honest with you, I wanted to be Muscle Tech athlete, right?
Gotcha.
But I really like Rich, and
Yep.
but he gave us like I had to do like
Certain
demo,
appearance.
like appearance, like every other week.
Was
Then,
that part of the contract?
Yeah, part of contract. I had to call supplement store, like a nutrition store, and then I go there, drive there, bring all the like a cup and the stuff, and I do like tasting.
Oh, like samples and things like that?
Sampling. Then,
Wow.
Then
Wow.
I still remember one store I really like to go, Lindbergh store. It's in
Torrance.
Torrance, yeah. It's big store, like a supermarket of supplements.
Okay.
Nutrition supplements. And Saturday or Sunday, they have like 1,000 people come to buy a supplements.
Wow.
It's unbelievable store, right? Then whenever I'm there, I sold like crazy. So I sold the store. So the manager that store, like, always ask me when you come, because I sell a lot.
Because they sold everything.
Yeah, I sell a lot. But I like to do that in that store because everyone come, just because they come, just wanted to buy a supplement. They are interested in putting muscle, right? So they see us, they see me like this, and they want to buy it, and they come in, they probably come in for muscle take. But I said this is Gaspari's better.
You sold them rich and stuff.
Yeah, it was fun. So that's a little thing I appreciate. Back then I was like, shit, I need to do this work, but Rich actually taught us how to work. That's because I didn't really speak good English, but I had to go there and talk to people, right? So then I had to call store and make appointment. That was pretty much new to me, right? So I kind of learned a lot. Then back then it was another thing different was there are a lot of guest posing back there.
Okay.
So another thing we don't have right now. Any show we go back then, there are guest poster like Jay Cutler, you see like Sean Ray, you see Ronnie Coleman, this show, almost all local show had a guest poster, but now we don't. So we are lucky. Every other week we go there and then got a couple $1,000 and sell all these sign. Photographs.
Sign everything, interact with the fans during the guest posing.
Right. So it was, I miss these days. I mean, if I say that, I sound like an old guy, but I'm pretty sure, like I sometimes, speak, Iris, speak to Jay here, we all miss back, old days.
Well, I was going to ask you, why do you think that there's not the guest posing, the guest appearances? What is it? Is it social media? Is it
Yeah,
what?
exactly. Social media.
How so? Like, why is it so much different?
Because back then they don't have chance to see real bodybuilder, so every promoter wants to pay them to come here to sell the ticket, right? But now, because we are promoters, so now we don't really need to have guest poser anymore, because we have so many competitors. We have so many categories, right? Because back then there was only bodybuilding, men and women, which means they didn't really have audience. Now we have bikini, we have men's physique, like 1,000 competitors, which draw
a lot of the audience.
Yeah, audience, families,
and their social media and their families,
right.
and so if you're having hundreds or thousands of competitors,
right.
and they're paying entry fees, and they're
stadium is full,
and then and with social media too, that's making it more popular.
Right.
So you don't need the guest appearances to draw the crowd, if you will. Social media and individuals are drawing that crowd.
And I think back then it was still a mystery, because we don't have any internet, right? So we are always wondering how Jacob eats, or what kind of personality he is, because we never met him, right?
Yep.
Now you go YouTube,
now you can see
you can see everything. So people are not really interested in depth of personality of bodybuilders.
So it's almost a supply and demand kind of thing, where back then you didn't have the supply of information.
Right.
Now you have all kinds of information.
Right.
You can go and see the eating, the sleeping, the nutrition, everything, the training, whereas before you couldn't.
Right.
So you felt like that was your only opportunity.
Right.
Yeah, it used to be where athletes was untouchable. You couldn't get to them. And they're like, oh, Hira Yamagishi is guest posing. I'm going to that show. But now that he has his own channels, you can go on there and kind of communicate. Sometimes you're blessed to have him return an email, because we get DMs where people are contacting you and answering questions. They're blown away, like, oh my God, Iris, you're really answering my email? Oh my God, I can't believe you made my day. But back then when we were competing, you either saw us at the show in the audience or guest posing, and they're blown away to be in front of you, to where it's almost like a Michael Jackson. We're like a Michael Jackson to a lot of fans, and when they're close up on you, they make you nervous, but they're so happy to be able to communicate with you and shake your hand and take a photo. But it's really, really different now. I don't want to say they don't value us athletes now as they did then. It's just different. What it is promoters are actually finding ways to save money, and supplement companies are finding ways to save money simply by having ambassadors. Ambassador is someone who will take the opportunity to post their supplements without getting cash. They get supplements for working. So that way, that eliminates the athletes from having $2,000 to $5,000 every month from the
payroll.
Company. Yeah, so it's a bait and switch, and I understand promoters trying to save money, because you have to figure they have to pay the judges, they have to pay for the arena, they have to pay for the security, they have to pay for the judges, so they're trying to cut corners. And then the number one thing they have to pay is sanction fees. If you want to have bodybuilding, if you want to have wellness, if you want to have bikini, all those charges, $4,000, $4,000, $4,000, whatever that price is, so it becomes substantially expensive.
So as a business, everybody's looking at their income and their expenses, and they're saying, hey, how can we get our expenses under control here?
Yes.
And some of that is, well, we're not going to have guest posers, or we're not going to have appearances, or we're not going to have, so we've got these other expenses. And then how many people can we get to come? Well, social media is like taking care of a lot of that.
Absolutely.
And just from being around y'all for the last couple months, I mean, these people are at their gym. Like, you see Powerhouse in the background. And Hide told me, and I'll ask you about this in a minute, about like the original family. Gold's has been sold a lot of times to a lot of different people, and they've fallen into disrepair in different ways at different times. From my understanding, Powerhouse is still with the original family that started it. And like, Paul, you're off camera, but I'm like, we come in the gym every day. They're here every day. It sometimes longer than others, but they're here every day. It's their life. It's their lifestyle. And these are people that truly love the sport. And I can tell you, we've been to gyms. Like when Paul was ready, we said, well, Las Vegas is the Mecca right now, and much more so than California. And you know, when you came over California, when y'all were in California, that was the Mecca. We said we got to go to the Mecca, and we've been to gyms. We've met many of the main people in the sport over the last couple months, and when we walked in here, it was like home. Totally different vibe, totally different. The people here are what make this gym. Yeah, a lot of gyms around the area are quite sterile, in my view. And I've sat with my son a lot in a lot of different gyms. They're very sterile. Yeah, they got some good bodybuilders. Yeah, they got some pros coming in. You come in here, you see all the pictures, you see all the everything they poured into this place. They poured like you poured yourselves into this place. And I was just thinking, it's just for you not to be honored in that way, you know, it is ridiculous. So I'm glad we got that out, because now it sounds like everybody's on the same page, and that's a wonderful thing. I guess the last thing for this session I wanted to ask was, in terms of like, Hide, you guys have this gym in Vegas. You've got a gym in Tokyo, Powerhouse, and then you've got the franchise rights to all of Japan, right? So how many gyms do you have in Japan?
So first one was Tokyo,
Okay.
so which is the Hira and Iris Powerhouse gym, Tokyo.
Dedicated to you.
Right.
Okay.
So second one was it's in Kyushu, Miyazaki, which is a bigger setting, like American style. Then a third one was Chiba, which is another big setting.
Got it.
Because I'm saying bigger setting is like Tokyo, as you guys can imagine, it's a crowdy, a city. So that Tokyo gym is kind of tiny. But it has a unique equipment, but size wise, it's we can say tiny.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So we have third one, fourth one is in Hokkaido, Sapporo, which I was my birthplace, Sapporo, like a Sapporo beer.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Same as Sapporo beer?
Yeah, Sapporo beer.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. And the fourth one will be in Osaka soon. So how many? Five? Yeah,
Yes.
five Powerhouse.
I played tennis in Osaka. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So you got one coming on, but 5 total.
Yeah, 5 total.
And you guys travel there, I mean, short of what's happened the last 18 months to 2 years, but normally you guys travel over, is it twice a year? And is that in May and November?
Right. So May
For the
we
shows,
have
or?
yeah, we have Iris Kyle Hira and Iris Japan Classic, which is a pro qualifier. So that's in May, coming up May. Then we have another one in November, Japan Pro, which is obviously a professional show. Then Olympia Amateur, which is another pro qualifier.
So the one in May, you can become a pro.
Correct.
And then the one in November, you can become a pro and you can qualify for a Mr. Olympia?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah. Then,
So, and you've got the gyms over there as well.
right. So I almost forget. Third one, we have a new show, Tokyo Pro, in August.
Oh, in August too?
August, yeah.
Did you just add that?
Yeah, that we did. We wasn't there last year because of these things.
Right.
But we started in August. First one was last August, Tokyo Pro.
So you've got May, August, and November.
Yes.
Spread out like that.
Yep.
And will you all go over 3 times a year at that point?
We pray.
Yeah, if everything
depends,
is
yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Was there? I don't know if you wanted to talk about the Powerhouse franchise at all, or if you wanted to, you had told me a story where you guys were deciding, you were with a different gym here.
Absolutely.
And you had the Body Cafe, which has all these fantastic supplements, and I didn't know this, you do mail order all over the world.
Absolutely.
And along with your regular customers, but you had Body Cafe, and what was the gym called? It's no longer in business, right?
It's
or
closed.
It's
out
closed.
for business. I guess no one is interested. It's a huge facility. It's 48,000 square footage, right?
48,000.
48,000. We hosted about 4,000 of it on the first level to the left.
Was that the Body Cafe?
That was the Body Cafe, which we still have in existence. And we had Body Cafe for 10 years plus now, which cater to supplements, workout, everything that you need in your workout bag. We have at Body Cafe.
Is it kind of an extension of what you guys did when you first met?
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of the supplements and
Yes.
bringing in a whole community and that kind of thing?
Yes. Hide was in Iraq, somewhere out of the country when we were formulating and putting the blueprint together. And I went into City Athletic and checked out the space, and we talked over the phone about it and put it all together. But it was a lot of work. We had an honest guy that we trusted to allow us to open the space there. And I mean, we used to cater to about 48 different shakes. We had a Miss Olympia. We had a Hide's Dragon. I think we had
48 shakes.
48 different shakes that you didn't have to feel guilty of drinking. People use it for post workout. I mean, I think they start to say, shucks, when I get my statement every month, all I see is Body Cafe.
Yeah, because you sold so many
We
shakes.
sold so many shakes, and we make sure that we cater to their lifestyle of their workouts. So we help them pick out their supplements. We also taught them how to use it. So you just don't come by from us. We actually made a regimen for you to have it on a time schedule to when to take it. So we built a very good mail base on that form, which is now located a couple of suites from Powerhouse Gym. And we love it. I mean, Peter and I are very passionate about this sport. We took pride in what we put on our shelves. We really believe in trying the supplements from a 6 to 8 week process to make sure that product is legitimately something that can allow a person to actually change their body. So everything couldn't make it on our shelves. We made sure of that, because if we wasn't using it, Gaspario is one of our most popular lines. If we didn't believe in it, we won't have it, because we believe in retention. And that's the same thing we think about Powerhouse Gym. We had a choice to either place this gym under a different name or go with Powerhouse Gym as our gym name. And we choose Powerhouse Gym because it was much of a larger franchise. And we want to set the record straight that we're not just catering to athletes. We catering to all walks of life. Anybody who's interested in changing their lifestyle and becoming healthy and working out on a regular basis, that's who we're opening our doors to. And let them know and let everyone know that no one's treated differently, regardless of what your pocket has.
You told me the first day.
Yes. It doesn't matter how much money you have in your pocket, what kind of car you drive, or if you're a beautiful specimen. When you walk in the doors, you're going to get the same treatment as the next person.
Well, I'm proof of that. I'm proof of that. I walk in, I'm 135 to 140, soaking wet, cat hanging on a vine, and I'm walking around. You know, most everybody's bigger than me, but you know, you guys, I've watched you, and it's all different walks of life. It's all socioeconomic levels. It's all people, all cultures, all different types of personalities. And y'all are always walking around, and the staff is always walking around, like just trying to help people.
Absolutely.
And I didn't know you did the training, like the training routines with Body Cafe. I didn't know you, because I see you training people in the gym. I see you constantly coaching people in the gym. It's almost like an office for you.
Absolutely.
In that regard. But I didn't know you did that with the supplements and also getting people's nutrition together and things like that.
It all comes into just like an athlete who's competing. They got to make sure that their diet is in place, the supplementation is there so they can speed up their recovery time, and then the exercise format, making sure that they're completing the exercise in proper form. So all those things have to link together, and if you have one that's not linking with the next, obviously the person who's paying you, which is you're paying me, is going to start questioning, hey, I'm not changing, and that's not my ticket.
Because you got to produce and you got to get results.
Yes.
Because when you guys have been on stage, if you don't produce and get results, you get judged accordingly.
Absolutely. So that matters here.
Absolutely.
We call our Powerhouse family team. I try to stay away from staff because to me that's somewhere under the table format. Everyone's here is treated equally. Isaac Bailey is our general manager. He's the most professional guy you can ever run across. Pleasant. He has a look of authority, so he can be very pleasant. Or if you want to cross that line, he can be very authoritative.
I can tell you, you don't want to cross that
You
line.
don't want to cross that line. So we feel very gifted and honored to have Isaac on board conducting business when we're not here, which is very rare. But even when we're here, Isaac is the man in charge.
Yeah.
And we have a great team. We have Karen, we have Martin, and we have Sean, who also came all the way from Japan.
He came from Tokyo,
He
didn't
came
he?
from Tokyo. He was adamant. He said, I want to come work for Hide. He said Hide, but he meant Powerhouse Gym. And he came over here, and he's been a blessing in disguise as well. We have different things that we like to do, and one of them is a very clean gym. And you go around to
Spotless.
gyms, and you're
Spotless.
just like scared to sit on something because things are so scary. They're not clean, so we clean, we stock, we rack, and we have fun with the members here. We dance, and it's just a big family mixed with all walks of life.
Yeah, and I can attest personally with my son, who's the most dear person in my life. We have felt a part of the family from day one, and it's, you know, a lot of people talk about that kind of thing. These people do, and I'm looking so forward. We can end it, you know, we can wrap it up if you guys have anything you want to say. But to me, the one thing I want to say, this has been, I hope y'all have enjoyed it, because it's been educational for me, and I love seeing these people every day. I look forward to coming to the gym every day with my son Paul, just to see them and to say, hey, what's up and what's going on. And the training is great, but it's a very social atmosphere. And anything y'all want to end on, anything you want to say, you just go for it, and we'll wrap it up.
Well, I just want to let you guys know where we're located. We're at 1950 South Rainbow, Suite 104105. The zip code is 89146. Again, if you're looking for supplementation, we have a suite, 2 suites down, which is Suite 100. Please feel free to come try us out. It only costs you a mere $15 to the rest of this month. Come in and try us out. Bring a friend, bring a family, whoever you want, but just come try us. Don't look at the name. The name is just a name that we represent.
Very good. Hide, you have anything to close on? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
You good? Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.